Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's bright and early, it's 7 a.m. I'm actually headed to downtown LA to shoot some behind the scenes for my friend Michelle. She's being interviewed by a big media outlet that she's getting featured on. I don't think I can say the name of the media outlet quite yet because this video will come out before that interview comes out. Nonetheless, should be a pretty good time. And after her interview, we're actually gonna sit down with Michelle and she's gonna tell us a little bit about her experience as a small business owner and what it's like hiring different freelance photographers and videographers. So if you're interested in working in the fashion industry or just don't know where to get started, Michelle is gonna let you know. And what's funny is Michelle was actually the first person that ever hired me to make a video and paid me. So it's kind of a little full circle moment, but I think it should be fun and a fun conversation. So let's roll the intro.
Michelle, interview take one. Hello, Saul.
Thanks for joining me.
Fancy seeing you.
I know. So we're in downtown, hopefully socially distanced. I don't know if I'm like in the frame, but I hope I am.
I think you are.
You're definitely in the frame though. Okay, so we kind of jokingly talked about how we first started working together, but Michelle was actually the very first person that hired me January 2017. I was a little nobody in the content creator game. Just starting out, I had just bought my camera like 5 months before that, but Michelle actually hired me through a mutual friend, and I don't know if you want to tell that story a little bit of how we got connected.
Yeah, I could definitely do that.
Let's do that, Michelle. Okay, so let's just rewind it. Like, how did you see the video that prompted you to reach out to me? And like, why did you decide to reach out to me because of that video?
So I was just on my Facebook feed and thinking in my head, I need to find a really good videographer, but I don't really know anyone that kind of has that same like vision that I was like seeking for. So I was just thinking about this in the back of my mind, being like, okay, how am I gonna connect with someone who's dope? And then I was scrolling on my Facebook feed, and then one of my friends who has a band released this like day in the life type of like raw band music video, and I saw it and it wasn't like it wasn't perfect.
That's hurtful.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
No, I know, yeah.
That's the wrong word. It wasn't
like
that's
good, yeah.
fully there yet, but I can see the potential. And I think that's what I was looking for at the very beginning, because I was going to start my own brand. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I wanted to grow with someone and like somehow like do dope shit when we're like both so
like new
moldable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I was like, I really like his eye and the way he's like kind of capturing the essence of a music video. So then I contacted my friend and I was like, hey, who shot your music video? Is he local? Is he interested? Like what is it that he wants to do? And she's like, yeah, for sure. Let me give you his number or his email. I forget what it was. And then I reached out to you. Yeah.
And I actually still have that original email. I'll pause the video and put it right here for you. It's so funny though, because Michelle's like my big sister now, and like that first email is like so formal. And it's like, we met at like a Starbucks in Glendale, California, and we just like talked for like 20 minutes about like what she was doing, and then I had just started out and I had never really had like a client meeting, I guess, in essence. So I was like kind of nervous too, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of just starting out, but just wanted to like grow and create some more. So fashion seemed cool. And then yeah, so that was like in January. So
we established a working connection from there. And we just kind of went right in, no general direction, to be honest with you, because we weren't really given any clear direction, even though it was my brand. It was this weird dynamic, but at least it forced us to start creating and then start reaching out to influencers or models or people who we felt like would look good in the stuff that we were creating.
Yeah, exactly. So after that first meeting, Michelle was like, all right, I think we might have like a shoot coming up. Would you be interested in making that first video? And I was like, yeah, definitely. Like at this point, I was just trying to shoot anything and everything, no real plan. And yeah, so I show up to, I think you probably sent me like a mood board or some sort of concept. And I was like, okay, cool. So we organized the shoot, and then we we show up, and then we shot it on this like mountainside in the Hollywood Hills. That was pretty cool. Like the view in general was pretty cool. But it was just like, Michelle, I guess, didn't really know what the direction necessarily of the brand was yet. And then I was just kind of like, all right, well, I'm trying to like pick up some sort of direction, but then I'm also not really sure what to be doing. So point being, the video never comes out. And if Michelle's okay with it, I'll probably show a little bit here. But yeah, I thought it was interesting experience, to say the least. I don't know if there's anything you remember from that day specifically.
No, it was just, it honestly was a hot mess. I think, like, obviously I wasn't given the direction. I've never really been in a production where I have to be like the production assistant, project manager, all those things, right? Like I was just in the creative side before. So no one knew what they were doing. Nor did we know the true vision of it. So exactly. that was the first issue. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, after that we kind of just like worked together consistently more, and then Michelle's brand started forming or molding itself a little bit better. I like started learning what she was looking for a little bit better. So it was just a very communicative relationship, I felt like, and we like were able to feed off each other's energy, creative energy, and just be able to start creating some more. But yeah, that first shoot, January 2017, that was my first paid shoot ever, and Michelle paid me a little $150 envelope. How'd you come up with that number?
I don't know.
You were just like, here.
It wasn't my money, so.
Gotcha. From the initial relationship, the takeaway is just like create your own content, because you never know who's seeing it. Like that video that I made for my friend, she just posted it on Facebook and Michelle watched it, and it led me to getting hired. So I think key takeaway number one, always create your own content.
Yeah.
And then number two, now I want to like pick your brain a little bit as like a small business owner. Like how do you connect with like videographers or photographers? Let's say there's someone watching who like wants to start shooting for fashion brands but doesn't really know how to start, or is just starting out and they might be like a little bit timid to like reach out to people. Like what do you have to say to those people, and like how can people get in touch with people like you, not necessarily you, but people who are like in the same realm?
I think there's different ways to go about it. The first one is to be comfortable enough to reach out to people. Even as scary as that may feel, and maybe there are heroes out there that you like want to eventually become, it's okay to at least try to reach out to them. You never know if they will respond to you, and if they do, that's awesome, you know? And I think the worst case scenario is that they just won't respond, and you just keep on going. You keep on reaching out to more and more people. If the more personable you can be, instead of just a really generic email or a DM being like, I love your shit and it's dope, like, can I work with you? I don't know, that doesn't really speak to me, because I get hit up by videographers and photographers to our general email for Uprisers, and none of that, like, there's misspellings in there, they don't really form real sentences. I don't even know why you want to work with us, right? Doing your homework and reaching out to those people in that sense might give, you know, they might take a second look.
Yeah. So just be super professional. Don't like be generic, like don't copy and paste and like forget to change someone's name, because people have done that.
Yes.
I've luckily have never done that, but I've heard horror stories. And yeah, so just always proofread. And like, if you don't know what a professional email looks like, I'll literally screenshot one right here, and you can copy and paste this one if you want. Just make sure that you're changing it to whoever you're sending it to.
And then if you're scared of reaching out, cold email, cold DMs, you know, there are so many like creative groups, forums, or whatnot that you can be a part of, right? Be a part of the community and start networking with your fellow content creators. You know, maybe some people are already looking for gigs or asking for people who want to help out in shoots. It might not be paid, but at least you start networking and you start gaining more and more experience. And working with other content creators will open more doors for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I think not getting paid has a very negative connotation for a lot of people, especially in the creative field, because it's like you don't want to get taken advantage of. But I feel like if you're starting out, like it's just an easy way to get into the door, because everyone's going to accept free help, especially if they just need an extra set of hands on set. And like, honestly, that's what happened with me and Michelle. Like I was just around Michelle all the time, and she kind of introduced me to different people who also needed videographers or really liked my work. So it kind of allowed me to expand my network, which is why I always say that I owe my career to Michelle, because everyone had just connected through her. So it's kind of crazy. Cool. So just to round this out, like, how do you look for photographers? I guess you don't really look for videographers because you have me, but like if you're looking for
I have a whole list of other videographers.
Yeah, clearly. But if you were to look for a photographer, videographer as a small business owner, like what is something that you look for? How do you just find people that you want to shoot for your clothing company specifically?
For me, it's kind of hard to say because I don't really go out on a hunt for photographers and videographers anymore, because it's like we have our core people, you know, and so it's like keeping it within the family. They know what kind of content we like to see. But when we do have extra hands, now I'm going to someone like a Saul or some other photographers that we really trust, and their network of videographers and photographers. So
I get that. So it's like, yeah, because if for whatever reason I'm not available, or like it's just like our photographers who we really shoot with all the time aren't available, it's always like, all right, well, who do you know that might be available and can do a good job? So yeah, like aside from
that kind of comes full circle, because right, so if you're networking and creating with other content creators, there are going to be referrals within that. So that's why it's so good to network within and not really see other photographers and videographers as competitors, because you guys are all in this together. You guys are all creating dope shit, and if someone is already booked for that day, for that job, they're going to refer you. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's like a strategy I implemented really early on. Like I would connect with photographers because I know they don't do video, but sometimes clients want photo and video, so I could be the video person that they refer, and vice versa. Like if I don't really do photography, but if I know like Michelle needs photography, like I can just connect a photographer to her. So yeah. So network. So I guess what are the takeaways from this? So the first one, create your own content. Always create your own content.
I think it's like create your own content and then be open to projects.
Yes. Never. A
lot of yeses, then nos, and then you can start being choosy once you like establish yourself.
Because you never know like what you're gonna like or what you might not be good at, etc. So that's the first takeaway. Second takeaway: always be professional. Know how to conduct yourself. Write a good email. Don't have any typos, poor grammar, because that looks really bad. And then lastly is network. Just reach out to fellow creators, videographers, photographers, graphic designers, stylists, whoever. And if you are going to reach this out to someone who owns a small business like Michelle, again, DM, email, but just make sure that's professional, right? Sick.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michelle. And real quick,
you did it.
Can we pop in Justin?
Check me out.
Oh yeah,
Michelle K. Hanabusa.
Yeah, I also edit all of Michelle's YouTube videos, so she gets no views, but that's okay. So here we have Justin. Introduce yourself. Who do we have here?
Hey, my name is Justin, and I've been in the brand content creator world for maybe my whole career, 8 years now.
So, and then you're currently in LA. You work for a pretty big music label that we won't name, but so you've been around the block for a little bit.
I've been around the block.
Cool. So I just wanted to sort of add to what we spoke with Michelle and just get your take on sort of photographer, videographer. What are some tips that they can take away just to get started and, you know, work their way up to landing those big corporate clients that they've always wanted to work with?
I think for people starting out, the biggest advice I would have is to make sure that you're on your shit. Like, make sure that you just become the best that you can be and really learn about all the craft that you are. And I think it's also really important to learn about the style of content creation that you're looking to do. Are you kind of more vlogger style? Do you want to do something a little bit more premium? Do you want to do, you know, what do you bring to the table? What is that style, and what can you offer as a content creator, or, you know, as a videographer, as a photographer? And then eventually, as you start to nurture that specific style, you'll be able to find a specific niche of clients that you can bridge with, right? So if you become like a high-end videographer DP, then you know that you're going after like the big TV commercials, or that, you know, and working with all those big brands. If you're becoming more of a vlogger type then you'll find opportunities with different influencers, different small boutique media companies, so on and so forth. So I think my advice is just find your style and then start to develop yourself, and then people will start to notice.
Yeah.
That's the initial kind of jump.
Yeah, what would you say from a client side looking for creators, how much does like the quality of the work matter versus like the relationships that a creator might have? Like obviously you want to present quality work, but how would you weigh like the importance of like having all these relationships or quote unquote connections versus like how good your work actually is?
I think there's a baseline quality that trumps all relationships. Like you have to meet minimum quality level to even be considered. After that, a lot of people will hit that quality level. After that quality level, it just becomes majority relationship.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is about a client putting their dollars on the line and making sure that they are not gonna get fucked for it, you know? And so that's a really big part. And if they've worked with you in the past, they trust you, that you delivered, you're able to communicate with them, you guys have like a really good rapport, good working relationship, and they trust you, then they're gonna continue to spend money on you versus taking a risk on someone of similar quality that they don't know. Yeah. The only time they would maybe work with a different videographer or a different photographer is if they need something different that you're not providing that the other person can provide. But that's okay, because I think there's a lot of work for everyone, and it's so long as you are developing your craft and owning in on your niche, you can find those specific clients, right? So like if you're a videographer and you shoot like docuseries, it's totally cool if your client goes off and shoots like a TV spot, because you might not know how to do that the best way. You know, that's an investment from them, and they need to trust that their money is going into the right place. Yeah.
LinkedIn. So I think LinkedIn has always been tied to like a very corporate like work role, but like for freelance creators, how important do you think LinkedIn is to have as opposed to just like a traditional platform like Instagram?
I think LinkedIn is a really great tool for starting conversations. You know, like I don't think LinkedIn is a place for content creators to go and start pitching their services left and right. Hey, here's my portfolio, here's this, here's that. I think it's a place for very organic conversations to build. Like if you're a content creator and you want to partner with an influencer and you just want to put out something, but you're not specifically selling them something, LinkedIn is an amazing place to do that. But I think that just going on LinkedIn and spamming people with your work is maybe not the best way to find work. So it's an interesting platform. I think it's you just really have to be as organic and transparent as possible on LinkedIn. One thing that people don't really do as much that I feel like people should focus more on in video and content creation is focusing more on PR opportunities. Oh. That's one that I feel like kind of go over people's heads. And it's like, if you create a really great piece of content and you're covering something interesting and the client that you're working for gets that piece of content placed, that's something that I feel like you should be posting on LinkedIn so other people can follow you. And I think I think it's something to understand as a content creator. If you want to work with marketers, just understand that what you are creating is an asset, and an asset can be used in multiple different ways. And so if you can speak the marketer's language and you know what you're doing, right? Like if you're doing a real estate video, just know why you're doing the real estate video for that marketer. And if you can speak to that and make it simple for him, I think you're gonna win in the long run. And that's how you build relationships, when you understand what your clients are actually looking for versus upselling them on this crazy creative vision that you have. Yeah. So that's it.
Gold.
Simple.
Thank you so much.
Done.
Appreciate you. All right, add us all on LinkedIn. Appreciate everyone taking the time to watch this. Hopefully you learned something. And I'll see you next week.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and give him all the love.
Peace.
I might just hit it through. That's on my element. I like dark skins, love a melanin. Talk, pushing in the tone when I'm stepping in.